Uncle Avon and the Forbidden Jeans, a tale of smuggling, bribery, and rebellion. Let me tell you about my Uncle Ivan, a man who wasn't a revolutionary, but became a symbol of quiet defiance in a world that tried to control every aspect of his life. This isn't just a story about fashion. It's about rebellion, vodka, and one man's relentless pursuit of a pair of Levi's jeans. Back in the 1980s, jeans weren't just clothing. They were a statement. In the Soviet Union, owning a pair of Levi's meant risking harassment, fines, or worse. But to Ivan, those jeans were worth it. His journey begins with a simple dream: to own something that made him feel free. It's a tale of smuggling, bribery, and sheer determination, a story that highlights the human spirit's enduring fight for individuality. Uncle Ivan wasn't an activist. He worked at a factory, enjoyed fishing on weekends, and rarely stepped out of line. But one day, everything changed. It happened when Ivan saw a Western tourist strolling through the city in a pair of Levi. They weren't flashy, just simple, dark blue jeans. But they radiated something Ivan had rarely seen: freedom. "Why did you want jeans so badly?" I asked him once. "Because they weren't gray," he replied. Everything in our lives was gray. Our clothes, our buildings, even our food. But those jeans, they had life. Ivan's obsession grew. He began saving every ruble he could spare, cutting back on meals and other small luxuries. He asked around for anyone who could help him get a pair. That's when he heard about a sailor who smuggled Western goods. The black market in the Soviet Union was a fascinating and dangerous subculture, a network of secret deals and whispered connections. 3. The underground economy. Western goods like jeans, cassette tapes, and chewing gum were highly sought after. They symbolized a life outside the rigid control of the state. 4. Smuggling tactics. Sailors, athletes, and diplomats returning from trips abroad often hid contraband in their luggage. Some got creative, wrapping jeans around car tires or stuffing them into hollowed-out books. Ivan's contact was a sailor who occasionally brought back Western items. The deal was simple. For 2 weeks' wages, the sailor would bring him a pair of Levi's on his next trip. When the sailor returned, Ivan rushed to meet him. In a dimly lit alley, the sailor handed over the jeans, neatly wrapped. Ivan couldn't believe his luck, but his triumph was short-lived. The real test came at the border. Customs officers in the Soviet Union were trained to spot contraband. They scrutinized everything from luggage to the clothes on your back. Jeans were a high-priority item for confiscation. As Ivan's bag was searched, the officer's hand stopped on the neatly folded pair of Levi's. "Contraband," the officer declared. "You know these are illegal." Ivan's heart sank. He pleaded, explaining they were a gift for a cousin. But the officer wasn't swayed. That's when Ivan remembered the bottle of vodka tucked into his suitcase. It was a calculated risk and unspoken bribe. "Comrade," he whispered, holding up the vodka, "perhaps we can come to an understanding." The officer paused, his expression shifting. After a moment, he took the vodka, smirked, and handed the jeans back. "Be careful next time," the officer warned. Ivan was elated. Against all odds, he had won. Back in his hometown, Ivan became an underground celebrity. Neighbors and friends came by to see the jeans. They marveled at the sturdy fabric, the perfect stitching, and that iconic red tab. To them, the jeans were more than clothing. They were a glimpse of a different world. But wearing them came with risks. People who sported Western clothing were often harassed by the authorities or even reported by their neighbors. Still, Ivan wore his Levi's whenever he could. They made me feel alive, he told me, like I had something they couldn't take away. For Ivan, the jeans represented a small victory over a system that demanded conformity. They were his personal rebellion. Ivan's story isn't unique. Throughout the Eastern Bloc, people went to incredible lengths for a taste of Western culture. 3. Jeans as a cultural weapon. Levi's became a symbol of individuality and resistance. Wearing them was a way of saying, I'm not just another cog in the machine. 4. Global impact. The popularity of Western goods, from jeans to rock music, played a subtle but significant role in undermining communist ideologies. They exposed the people to a different way of life, one that valued choice and freedom. Governments understood this, which is why they worked so hard to ban these items. But as Ivan's story shows, no ban can suppress the human desire for self-expression. Years later, I asked Uncle Ivan if it was worth it. Of course, he said. It wasn't just about the jeans. It was about proving to myself that I could have something of my own, something they couldn't control. Ivan's story reminds us that even the smallest acts of defiance can carry immense power. A pair of jeans may seem trivial, but in a world that sought to crush individuality, they became a symbol of freedom. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And tell me, what's the most rebellious thing you or your family has ever done? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Until next time, stay curious and stay free.